at the 15. He's on his feet. 10, 5, touchdown.
The Jake Nulph Show.
Go Burrow.
Welcome back to another episode of the Jake Nulph Show. We're live at Charlie's Pub and Eatery, and new day, same shirt. Unfortunately, Coach, another frustrating.
We went to the same
couple weeks.
Yeah,
we made it quite a ways.
We did
until we doubled up. But you last week you sort of jumped out with the elephant in the room. So let me start with the elephant in the room. 1-4 in the last 5 by a grand total of 15 points.
Yeah, that's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's all in the final possession of the game too. And it's we're finding ways to lose, Joe, not capitalizing on ways to win. And the unfortunate part is, with the exception of the Slippery Rock game, we've had a lead in every one of those. Yeah. And we just haven't been able to hang on to it for whatever reason. And our opponent has made some plays too, which I'm sure you're going to bring that one up, the throw and et cetera. But, we just got to stop shooting ourselves in the foot. We got to close some things out. And it's just unfortunate we're getting into that 2-minute critical situation and we're coming up short.
Obviously, we do this each and every week from Charlie's Pub and Eater, and we're so gracious for them to have us. But in some respects, it's like a deja vu, because you talk about the close margin, and I want to sort of walk through. And obviously, the fake punt from Reed proved to be obviously a big play. And we even talked about it in the broadcast, because I even said to Hartime, like, why it was 4th and 8. 33-yard line. Why did he even show the rugby? And then the next possession, we very quickly figured out why you showed it. Yeah. But 14 plays, you take 8:38 off the clock. You said we don't make plays to win a football game. You destroy the fourth quarter clock.
Yeah.
And you did do it. But again, it's one of those. I
didn't say we don't. We just haven't.
But I'm saying, when we talk about the keys to win the game, if you have time of possession, basically almost 11 minutes of the final, 8 minutes of almost the final 11, generally speaking, that's good enough to get it done. So that makes this, painstaking deja vu, because you have done the things, and then quite frankly, then either you haven't or they have, or a combination of the two.
Right, and that's the thing where, we started that drive and we needed some momentum, and there was – the thing is that maybe people at home may not know is we dialed up another fake punt in the first half, which we had, and it's just unfortunate because there was a miscommunication between myself and Reed, and I take full responsibility for that. But we had one dialed up in the first half, so we went to a different one in the second half and were able to capitalize on it. And then our offense just kind of needed that spark, and that last series that we go ahead and we go up 21-18, it was methodical. It was pretty similar to a lot of the drives we've had this season. We were well on schedule. We converted third downs. And then Jeremiah Neely on the corner route in the back of the end zone, it was pass interference. We were going to get the penalty, but somehow comes up with an incredible catch in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. We score there, and then we got to have we get an opportunity to play defense. And the crazy thing is, you talk about it a lot in the special teams game. It's great when you don't talk about it because it's working. The wind was extremely, I don't want to say it was a factor, but it really was. It was strong, and in the fourth quarter, we were going into the wind. So when we
let me ask you, did that in your thought process? Did it at any point in the lead up? Because to emphasize how windy it was, the same tent at one point had more rushing yards than both teams combined, because it blew 60 yards on 3 separate occasions across the field pregame. Yeah. Did you put any thought into that, and how did what was your thought process?
No, yeah, we certainly did, and that's what we deferred. And knowing that we were going to get to start the first quarter, we wanted to start the game with the wind, and then they got it in the second half. They got it in the fourth quarter, but again, we thought if we can start with the ball in the third quarter to start each half with the wind, you can jump out and have some momentum. It was just unfortunate, but we go up 21-18. We had them on a 3rd and 16, and we played a defense where it's basically daring the offense to throw the ball underneath, and we got a rally and tackle. We ended up missing a tackle. They convert on 4th and 1. And then the unfortunate part is it's 2nd and 10, and they rolled a snap back to their QB. And it's unfortunate. We didn't cage him in the pocket, and we got caught with our eyes in the backfield, and he uncorked a 47-yard monster with the wind at his back. And number 82 for them makes a spectacular catch all the way down inside our 20-yard line. Great play by them. Terrible play by us. You know, we've got a post safety with his eyes in the backfield, and we got the guy in man-to-man when it turned scramble drill, caught peeking, and he delivered the ball as a strike. He took a big shot from Diaz and another defender, and it was just an unfortunate series of events there where they roll the ball back, he retreats, and basically goes Michael Vick video game on us.
Yeah, I mean that was a really a sequence that is to be forgotten on a couple of levels. You know, without going, I know you can't participate, but there was a significant foul on that play that was missed, and you know we won't. But
the impeding of our A-gap rusher,
that
Malpica.
was Zach had a really good. And again, you know, it really felt in a cruel twist. It was almost a carryover from the Clarion game, where it was the Tom and Jerry, where it was oh so close. And a step. I mean, I give Whitaker stood in there. He is a tough customer. He
took some shots.
He got lit up on multiple occasions. That one maybe being the worst.
Well, that's the thing where, again, I mean, I mentioned this on the show last Monday. He's a coach's kid. You can tell he loves ball. He has all the intangibles. He can run. He can throw. He's a really good football player. He made some plays, and he's tough. He took some shots. You know, we had 3 sacks. Probably a dozen hits on him where he didn't get sacked in the run game and in the pass game. And, you know, he wasn't even listed on the 2 deep. You know, he left the slippery rock game.
We had word prior that he wasn't traveling.
Well, I don't know if it was a concussion issue or what, but, I mean, he made it through protocol, and, boy, he ball out on Saturday. But that's the thing where situational football, we can't let anybody behind us at that point. We can't get our eyes in the backfield. And when it goes backyard football, schoolyard, you know, that's something that Coach Papley and Coach Weaver and the rest of the defensive staff practice. It's just an unfortunate series of events. And, you know, Gannon made the plays, and unfortunately we didn't. We couldn't hold the lead, and they win, you know, 25-21.
You know, the other element to this, and you talk about everything being equal. I want to go to the end of the first half. I think
I brought this up at the post-game interview.
Yeah, that was. Good. You know, good on Gannon. You know, they 3 men. They used their speed. They
collapsed the pocket.
They really did a great job. But we can nitpick at a mistake that was made in the back end on a broken play, but it's really hard to lose a 1-possession game and then look back at that opportunity. You know, moving forward, you know, how do you make sure? You always talk about getting a free possession. Yeah. That one felt like a free one.
Well, and that's the thing, and we did get more possessions than they had based off the fake punt. And yeah, you're right. I mean, Joe, that's the thing where when you got the ball 1st and 10 from the 16-yard line with a minute left in the half,
you got to get something.
And 2 timeouts.
Yeah.
You know, we dialed up something that we had been working on in the red zone from a game plan standpoint, and actually had what we wanted. But credit to their 2 edge rushers. They just collapsed the pocket on Isaac and come up with a big-time sack there. And then they do it again on 2nd and long. That's the thing where every play counts. And we emphasize that so much in practice and film study. And you never know what half a dozen plays to a dozen plays in the game are going to decide it. And, you know, we're sitting at 7-6 there. We get the ball to start the second half. We've got to come up with at least 3, and we didn't come up with any. And that's where, you know, they started feeling their pass rush a little bit, and we're pushing the pocket. And, yeah, it's, again, hats off to Gannon, but bad execution on our part to capitalize on the momentum there with a chance to potentially get it to a 2-score game at that point.
Now, obviously, Isaac got hurt late, and he had a really good ball game.
What was he statistically?
It was 15 of 19 for. I mean, his
158.
Yeah, his QBR was almost 209.
He played really well.
He played really well. But I did want to ask, because it's something that he's not necessarily known for, but the run game for Ike was really, really a major factor in, I don't want to say getting you into the ball game, because that was, but he made
that last series
but he
when
made
we took the
big
lead
runs.
Yeah, there was
it wasn't limited to that drive, but he really made the right read when in the RPO game.
That's the thing where you look at it. And we got the run game going on Saturday too. I mean, Karan Robinson had a $119 on the ground, and Isaac had a couple big chunk runs, and I thought we did well on the perimeter with those bubble plays, now balls, which are an extension of the run game. I thought our wide receivers did an incredible job of blocking downfield, and that was certainly something that we challenged them on, because I didn't think we were particularly good at Clarion in that phase of our game, and they did a tremendous job accepting that challenge. And I can think early in that game, like Gavin Ennis just caught a bubble and slipped it up for a +10 play there, and that was really set up by the perimeter blocking. And we talk about the margin of error. So the pass to Jarrett France, which I believe was a 32-yard play that set up the 1st and 10 from the 16-yard line before the half, it got pushed just slightly outside where we could get both feet in and get the ball at the 16. But if that ball is another yard inside, France walks into the end zone, and you're looking at a 50-yard play there, or a 48-yard pass. I'm sorry.
And of course, that sideline was hectic with the wind. Yeah. Both teams lost touchdowns going the other direction on that far sideline. When the ball's halfway there, you're thinking, uh-oh. And by the time the ball gets there, it was literally 12 yards out of bounds.
Well, that's the thing where we've got to be able to capitalize. And we had conversations with our quarterbacks in pregame because of the wind factor. And then certainly the start of each half where – when we had the wind, you got to drive it, and you can't let it go because the wind's just going to carry it and push it everywhere. So when you're throwing into the wind and you're throwing with the wind, you've got to be able to drive the ball a little bit more than hang it. And that's where you mentioned the start of the second half. We dialed up a shot play where we ran a post wheel with Tegan Brown down the left sideline. It would have been down Gannon's sideline, and he's wide open, Joe. Yeah. I mean, busted coverage. All we've got to do is put it on him there, and I don't think he gets caught. But it's a plus 50-yard pass play where we come up with 0 points in that possession as well. So when you miss that throw and you miss the points before the second half, that's potentially 14 points you leave off the board.
Yeah, and again, when you're fighting tooth and nail, it's easy to look at the one play as the why,
obviously.
But now when you can kind of really start to look at the missed opportunities, sure, the big play is always going to stand out. But for me anyway, somebody makes a play, tip of the cap. But when you leave one out there, that's what really.
Well, and the other thing I look at too is, we didn't come up with any takeaways, so we weren't able to take the ball away from Gannon. And then, in the kicking game, and how much I emphasize that, we have a punt return where when I tell you we're one guy and just a leverage play away from popping a huge return open to set our offense up at midfield, that was another opportunity. And then there was 2 kick return opportunities that we got in the wind where we're one guy away. So we're really close to breaking these things open. We got to continue to trust the process. We've got to have a great week of practice. We've got to certainly clean up our details because we got a very good Seton Hill team coming off of a big win over Clarion on Saturday, coming into Sox Harrison Stadium on Saturday.
All right, we will get to the Griffins coming up in a little bit. Jeremiah Neely will join us on the other side of the break. It's the Jake Nulph Show, live from Charlie's Pub and Eatery, Route 99, just past the lake. Jeremiah with 2 more touchdowns now, 4 on the year. And I want to be a little bit critical of the officiating, because they threw the flag before they signaled they blew the call for me. We didn't know he caught it. It was spectacular, but the first thing I saw was a flag, and I'm like, well, at least he's interfered with. But what a throw, what a catch! Yeah,
that was a wow. I'm with you because all I saw was
the flag.
The defender's back. Jeremiah tried to go up, and then you see, and then it's like, huddle, and then they signal touchdown. Again, and Jeremiah here just continues to get better every week, so that'll be a fun conversation with
Jeremiah
you.
Neal is going to join us when we come back. We're live at Charlie's Pub and Eatery, Route 99, just past the lake. It's the Jake Nulph Show. Back with more right after this.
At the 15, he's on his feet. 10, 5, touchdown!
The Jake Nulph Show.
Edinboro.
Well, welcome back to Charlie's Pub and Eatery, Route 99, just past the lake. Jeremiah Neely, kind enough to join us. 2 more touchdown catches with 4. We just teased it on the other side. It's called a segue in this business. That spectacular catch. I was a little disappointed because I would have loved to have had the touchdown call, but all we saw was the flags. There was a conversation. Walk us through what was the delay and how come nobody signaled the touchdown? What kind of happened there?
I honestly don't know. I caught the ball and I didn't see. All I seen was a flag too. I thought they caught a interference on me, and then I got up and actually one of my teammates asked the ref, "Was it a touchdown?" And he ran over to me and said, "Yeah, they called it a touchdown." And I didn't even realize it myself. I was just waiting for the signal, just like I was. So, but that play was it was a good play.
Great throw by Ike.
Yeah, it was a good throw by my quarterback Ike. Shout out to him. But, it was a good throw, good catch, good play. And my offense, we took advantage of that opportunity, and we made the play happen. I want to thank my offense for making that happen, too.
Now, obviously that was a contested catch, to say the least. But kind of your thought process, you come out of the break, and there's the ball. How quickly did you see that it was coming to you? And because, you had to make a late adjustment on it as well.
Yeah. So I kind of predetermined that ball was going to come to me, and I actually didn't attack the ball. The ball came to me, and I kind of jumped early, and I let the ball fall into my hands, and then once it touched my hands, it just stopped. It just sat there, and I just came down with it.
Now, obviously, you and Clayton, of course, Clayton didn't play this week. You're pretty good 1-2 punch for youngsters in this league, and I think what stood out to me, and maybe it was because Clayton didn't play. I was really impressed with your yards after the catch this week. Again, maybe, was it because Clayton wasn't there that maybe you were in a different role? Because Bo was playing quite a bit of wingback with you a little bit. But talk to us about that, because you and Clayton are a wonderful complement to one another.
Yeah. Clayton, we always go at it at practice. We hold each other accountable for everything that we do. We make sure we block well in practice, make sure we practice hard, practice our steps and everything. And so I knew he wasn't going to play, so I just had to step up and show him that just because one tight end's down doesn't mean that we lose any talent in a blocking game or the run game or the pass game. It just becomes a better threat at the vertical point of view. And, I just had to step up and play my game.
So now I'm curious because, I like the camaraderie and, the sort of the rivalry, if you would, with position groups. Now, do you guys get to count Bo's touchdowns? Because is he officially one of you guys now?
Oh yeah, Bo's a tight end now. He's now no longer quarterback. So I consider him a tight end. Especially the game he had a pretty good game just from being at QB and moving to tight end for that short of time. He did great. We communicated a lot throughout the whole week. He made sure that he was good on all the plays and everything. So yeah, he's a tight end for always.
Now, I asked this to Clayton when he joined us 2 weeks ago for the featured Fighting Scott on the pregame show, and I'll ask this to you. You guys are babies. You're in the grown-up world there at the line of scrimmage. What's that transition been like from high school? And that's a big ask because a lot of times you're both out there. That's a big ask, high school to this level. What's that been like?
I love it a lot. I love it more than high school. I was always physical, and just moving to tight end just made me more physical and made me better at my game. I feel like moving me to tight end was better for me and the offense. But yeah, me and Clayton, we always talk to each other, make sure we are good because we know that we are freshmen and that we're playing in this competitive league with a lot of older players and a lot of older groups. And we just stay each other all throughout lifts, throughout the week, throughout practice, make sure that we are good mentally because we know that we are freshmen and we know we are young.
Now, it happens. I think Clayton said that when he caught the touchdown at Robert Moore, it was this is really happening. What was your sort of, Dorothy, we're not in Kansas anymore moment where you're just not going to be a dude out there like you were in high school where, there's a lot of other, grown men out here that are just as athletic as you are. What was your sort of moment when you're like, uh-oh, this is like the real deal now?
I'll say when I scored my first touchdown, I wasn't expecting it at all. It was a shock to me also. I had to take a deep breath and actually look and think, and I really just scored, and I'm really here as a freshman playing with other grown men and other good teams, and I'm with this good team at Edinboro, and I just had to take a minute and think that I'm really here, and I just got to keep going forward and keep going.
Now I'm always curious because it's not so much that the kids don't have the ability. Most of the guys in this league that are recruited are certainly good enough to play here, but the problem is that they're not ready to be a college athlete. They're not ready for the commitment required. There are no days off. You're held accountability. You're held accountable in every walk of life. When you were in high school, maybe you could let stuff slide, or you got to go to class, and mom's not there to make sure you're getting out of bed, and there's nobody there to put you on the bus in the morning. What's that transition been like for you? Because obviously you have coaches, but for the most part, you're kind of left to your own devices, and you have to make the right decisions.
Yeah, it's been a very long journey, a long road through. It's a very big difference though at high school. High school, my mom was always there with me. She always got me up. She always made sure I had everything going on. So when I got to college, it was just the next step in my life, and I feel like I did a good job. The coaches helped me a lot of, Coach Nulph, my tight end coach, Coach Meter. They all did a good job of making sure I was level-headed, making sure I was good mentally, because they know how big of a change this is compared to high school. So I feel like my transition has been good, and I'm ready to keep going and keep making plays on the field.
Well, certainly off to a pretty doggone good start. 4 touchdowns in his true freshman campaign. Jeremiah, thanks for joining us. Coach Nulph is going to jump back on as we get you ready for Seton Hill. It's the Jake Nulph Show, live from Charlie's Pub and Eatery, Route 99, just past the lake. Coach Nulph when we come back.
At the 15, he's on his feet. 10, 5, touchdown!
The Jake Nulph Show.
Go Burrow.
Back here at Charlie's Pub and Eatery, we turn the page to Seton Hill.
Yeah.
And, of course,
Coach Day.
Yeah, Coach Day. And Coach Day's got a couple of dogs. Craigett is a handful.
Maybe the best running back in the league.
And he's
stud. Absolutely destroyed us last year, too.
And he's a unique guy because he's of like the Division I variety. Generally speaking, at this level, guys that size don't run like that. And the shiftiness, and he's tough. Tough.
He's a problem. And that's a credit to them and their staff. I think they do a great job in the run game, designing certain things, whether it's between the tackles or getting them on the perimeter. And he's a complete back. He can run you over. He can jump cut you. He can stiff arm you. He can run by you. He's a problem, and he's a really good player, and they complement him very well in the pass game. With Cruz at quarterback, he's turned himself into a dual threat guy. He has the ability to move the sticks and hurt you in the QB run game, and then
Phillips is
number 13, Todd Phillips. What was the stat? You know the stat. What was the stat line?
4 for 2. I was a comm major, but 240 something divided by 4 is a lot.
Yeah, he big play guy.
And he's big. Like he's not.
No,
because he's what 6'5", 6'6".
He's 6'5".
He's not just a real fast run by you guy. He can get across the face, physical.
This is year 4 for me at Edinboro, but then in 2019 being at IUP, and this is the most complete Seton Hill offense I've seen in 5 seasons. So they have the run game rolling, they have the pass game rolling, the dual threat quarterback, the offense, and then I haven't even talked about their defense yet, and the flex hybrid bear that they bring to the table, and man-free blitz and fire zones and cover 2 exotics, and they're a really good outfit.
The only thing different about this Seton Hill team is they only have one monster on the D-line. They're an athletic. The previous years, it felt like it was everywhere you turn was 310.
Yeah, they were big.
And this is just a little bit a little bit different formula with how they go about their business.
That's a good observation, Joe. I would say what they lack in size, they've made up for in athleticism and speed. This is a really stout defense. I was talking to you about David, their center fielder, 31. His brother JD plays for us, and he's leading the PSAC in interceptions. They've got a tremendous secondary. I think they are physical. You can tell they're coached very well. They're aggressive. Their linebackers flow. They're downhill. They blitz. They attack. I mean, they had IUP 13-0 at the half.
Yeah.
They had Cal in an absolute dogfight. There's some very similar traits to Seton Hill and Edinboro as far as schedule played, games played, and being in those one-possession battles. The last 2 seasons, particularly 2 years ago, they came up here and absolutely put it on us in the second half. And then last year, same thing. They made plays, and they got their run game going. This is going to be a tough task for us Saturday at Sox Harrison Stadium. We have to be on our details. We've got to take care of the things that we need to take care of on all 3 phases, in particular the kicking game, because they're very dangerous there too.
Yeah, the other thing that is a little bit different, and this may even precede Coach Day. Seton Hill was always very similar to Gannon, where they'd have Smurfs in the slot and monsters on the outside. They're a little bit different. I watched a couple of their games so far, and to your point, where they're similar to, they're always in the game. What is something about, like, from your film style? I watched them against Clarion, and obviously, you get a guy that averages 50 yards a catch. It's going to be tough. But what is something that sort of jumped out to you? Because they're as similar as they are from the previous years, they're just a little bit different.
Yeah, I think it starts with the production at quarterback. They're making the throws, and that's the thing where, I think Coach Day has done a tremendous job. I think his staff does a great job where they scheme you up. Their game plan, they were just missing some production at quarterback. Now they're getting the production at quarterback, and not only in the run game, in the pass game as well, and it's changed their dynamic. They have always been lights out on special teams and defense, but now they're adding the offensive production to their program, and it shows. I mean, this was a very good football team last year, and a lot of those same guys are back, and, they've got experience. The thing that I can say about this team, and I mentioned it tonight at our practice, is, they're going to come after you. And we have to be able to stay physical. We've got to take it week by week. We have the ability with them coming to us on the road. We've got to get into that physical type of football game to where it's almost similar to an IUP as far as style. You know what you're going to get with them. They're extremely physical outfit. They're going to run the ball. They're going to wait for you to load the box. They're going to try to throw their one-on-ones on the perimeter. And then they're extremely sound and physical on defense and in the kicking game. Very similar identity to what we saw at our place a couple weeks ago with the Crimson Hawks.
Got to give the people what they want. 2 reasons you win, 2 reasons you lose.
Boy, it's going to sound like a broken record. Turnovers. We've got to make sure that we are opportunistic on defense and in the kicking game, and then we can't give them anything at all, because that's where I think they do a really good job, Joe, of playing complementary football. The defense will set up the offense will set up the defense. So we've got to do our part in making sure we're playing the complementary football. And then the big plays. We've got to limit their run game, and we've got to limit their pass game. They can't get plus 12, plus 15 on us. And because of how aggressive they are on defense, we've got to be opportunistic in our opportunity to create big plays on them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously easier said than done, but if you can keep them in a predictable spot. Now, again, nobody's really been able to stop Craigett, but if you can get them into second and plus, and then obviously third that would be ideal. But again, much easier said than done.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I think that's a great point, Joe. We've got to win first and second down, and if this offense is on schedule, they're extremely potent because their entire playbook's open. So we've got to get them into negative plays on first and second down to make third down more in our favor. And that's the same thing for us on offense. You know, we've got to stay ahead of schedule, because if we get into third and long with this group and their pass rush and their blitz schemes, it's going to be a long afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you just think about it. There just aren't too many plays that are third down and 9. Like there just aren't too many conversions. So whether you're on offense or defense, if you can hold the other to that situation, you are certainly going to win some football games. So noon kickoff, 11 o'clock airtime on the Fighting Scots Radio Network, presented by ErieInjury.com. Thanks to everyone again for coming out to Charlie's Pub and Eatery, Route 99, just past the lake. Seton Hill at noon on Saturday.
Go Burrow.
We'll do it again next week here from Charlie's Pub and Eatery. Thanks for stopping by.
At the 15, he's on his feet. 10, 5, touchdown!
The Jake Nulph Show.
Go Burrow.